Catholic Nest. So today I'm just going to do a quick flip through of the St.Jerome School Grammar for grade 5. So I brought this for my grade 5, which is the UK Year 6 student. It is the last term of the school year, but I'm really keen to get him started on a good grammar resource now, and he'll just carry into next year. So there's quite a few components to this grammar. There's the workbook, the student text, and the teacher's manual, which you need for the student text, and you can also buy an answer key for the workbook if you so desire. So this is the grammar workbook. This is my favourite component. So it's just one exercise per page, and it's laid out in a really nice, inviting way, I think. So they kind of cover one concept per exercise. So they're just concentrating on this first one, on recognition of nouns, and they're just sorting them into person, place, thing, and then underlining the nouns in the following sentences. So it's got some nice artwork on the pages, and it's laid out in a nice, inviting way. So the scope and sequence for this grade is broken up into sections. So there's 11 exercises on nouns and different types of nouns. Then you've got pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions and interjections, phrases and sentences, homonyms, antonyms and synonyms, improving sentences, letter writing and paragraph writing, punctuation and capital letters. So some of this will be review for my son, and some of it will just be kind of fine-tuning and just a bit of extra practice in areas where he needs it. So I'll do a quick flip through some of the pages. So I just think it looks like a really good, solid grammar programme, and the fact it's got beautiful artwork and it's Catholic is definitely a bonus. So they're not always the same kind of exercise, they do vary slightly depending on what they're practicing. So they're practicing letter writing and paragraphs and sentences, which word to put in the different slots. So I just think it's lovely workbook. So it says, a series of reprints of the 1950s Catholic Voyages in English series by Loyola University Press. So it's not a thick book, but it has the lovely velvety covers that the Jerome School workbooks all seem to have. So then there's the student text, which is a big fat book. It's hardcover, and this is the most expensive part. But a good thing about the grammar bits is there's only one that's a consumable, which is this. I mean, you could photocopy it, but so I can reuse it with my other students because they won't be writing in this, and so all the other components can be saved. You can just repurchase the workbook, so it's like an investment. So the text is broken into two sections. The first section is creative activities, and the first couple of chapters sort of have American themes, but then it moves on to inventors, fearless Catholics. And then the second half, part 2 of the book, is grammar, and it follows the same kind of scope and sequence as the workbook. So I imagine you could use that section directly with the exercises in the workbook, and for extra practice and just really helping them to understand it. So the first half, there's a lot of parts where it says class assignment, and which you could tweak to fit your child. There's lots of good bits in here. I particularly like, I noticed there was a section on cold speaking. So they have a little little signs to tell them whether their voice should be rising in tone or falling in tone or pausing. So then they can learn to read aloud poetry and things using the right kind of rhythm and choral voice. So there's lots of useful things like that. So I think we'll just use this just sat together doing the exercises orally rather than writing them in a notebook or anything, as he's already got the workbook. So this covers lots and lots of stuff. So for example, dictionary habits, poetry, writing paragraph, building vocabulary, chapter challenge, polishing sentences, combining short sentences, putting the paragraph on paper, folding a letter, addressing a letter. So there's lots of good skills there to be learnt. So you've got part 2, which is grammar, and that is very similar to the workbook. I don't know if you could use this without the workbook or vice versa, but I think it would be a more solid grammar program using both. So the first exercise is also on nouns, like the workbook is. So it explains what a noun is, has a similar exercise, and then you move on to exercise 2 here. So they're only short, and that corresponds with the teacher's manual. So that also is split into 2 parts. And there's a bit that corresponds to each part in the textbook. So it tells you what pages you need to read about this before you use it. So it's worth just having a read of the little section on the pages before you do it with your child. So it's quite useful. It looks like it would be quite a handy component to have along with the textbook to show you how to use it. So we haven't started using it yet. I'll try to do an update on how we found it, and if it goes well for my student, I think I might put some of the other children on it as well. So that's Jerome Grammar 5. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing to support my channel.